taking a quick break, everyone, right now. About to get into game number 2 of LG versus NRG. NRG taking that game 1. What was that, like a 40-minute game, 30-minute game?
That game didn't get to quite go as long. It was right around the 28-minute mark where you could kind of just tell that everything was going to fall apart. I think even earlier in the match, because that Fire Giant engagement actually happened closer to the 18-minute mark, and from then on, it was basically all NRG just completely destroying Luminosity every single front. Anytime Lumi even thought about engaging underneath their T2 tower, NRG just met them. And NRG wasn't scared to take the fight, but Luminosity, they just did not have a composition that was designed around turtling for their own objectives.
Do you think that they're going to try and build another turtle comp this time?
Not necessarily. I like Lumi's draft in the sense that we got to see some of it actually come to fruition with that end kill on emilitoo between the Ninja ultimate and Giannis ult, but having to expend a Giannis ult in that aggressive of a manner to only connect onto one target, typically that's something you want to save for trying to swing across multiple members, get them all around that 50% threshold, then you have a better chance to fight into it, but there just wasn't a whole lot of synergized follow-up with Luminosity's draft.
Yeah, the NRG synergy was crazy. The team fights that they had, they were never split up, they were always there together. But it still didn't seem like Luminosity Gaming was necessarily out until that Fire Giant steal.
Yeah, that was what really sealed the deal. And after that, the team comp from LG here, it's just not a team comp that you can have for a Phoenix defense. Like we said here, we also have the engagement coming in from either Ninja or Aquarius on the Colon, and it's a blink into a Ganesha cage into basically nothing.
It's just really not a whole lot of work room for Aquarius even, and more often than not, he would end up just getting, it would either be Jeff or Aquarius immediately targeted by NRG and taken out, and when your front line's missing, there's even less that a Giannis, Hachiman, or Ninja can do, especially in Ninja from behind. Mask was just struggling for farming experience the whole game, and you asked about it earlier as far as why there wasn't a whole lot of anti-heal. I think that was actually just a little bit of an oversight by Luminosity. Initially, when the fights were breaking out, they were more in Luminosity's favor, so you don't really think about that aspect since you're already doing okay. And then once they fell behind, Mask was probably already committed to that Titan's main tree as opposed to the other side of the main tree with the Brawlers, and it was already so out of Luminosity's control.
You can't have oversight, though, in these type of games. The quarterfinals, this is what's going to determine who's going to be going up against rival. You need to be on top of everything right now. But for right now, guys, we're actually going to move on to our casters to see what they think of this next matchup.
These guys are taking a little bit longer than expected. I want to apologize, but I don't care. The reason I don't care is because I want these guys to play the best they can and have no issues the whole way through. So it's going to take a couple extra minutes. We'll wait.
We will wait.
We've waited long enough. We can wait a few minutes.
That's true. What's a couple more minutes? And plus, that was such an awesome game that I mean, I feel like I could talk about it for a long time anyways. I mean, Baskin with the great start. Yeah. He gets off to a 4-0 start. Every kill is going his way. But I think the other thing that we didn't really get a chance to touch on because that game was so action-packed is that BaRRaCCuDDa actually got off to a pretty good lead himself, and emilitoo played so well from behind. I mean, he really didn't get any pressure onto him throughout.
I'm just not feeling Hachiman. That's me personally. I just don't feel he's one of these hunters that's going to be a bigger impact. You want BaRRaCCuDDa to be really in there causing issues. Ramas, maybe even Anhez. I mean, I know Anhez a little bit further away now, but you want to see some more out of this.
I don't know. I feel like Hachiman is the only hunter that could have really made the impact in that mid lane fight where BaRRa rotates in very quickly, using that ultimate in order to close the gap and then hit everybody and kind of a set up Baskin to get those kills. Regardless, I think that the big takeaway for me is two things. Number one, Baskin versus Yammyn is a matchup that I didn't know my body was ready for, and it probably still isn't, but I can't wait to see game 2. And number 2, Aquarius played well. Aquarius was the question mark coming into this one. He gets first blooded, but after that, a little bit late on some rotations, but that seems to be very intentional from my eyes. Luminosity wanted to make sure that Aquarius was getting his farm on the right-hand side. Don't let him fall behind. Let maniaKK sacrifice some waves in that solo lane. Aquarius gets that first tower as a testament to him pushing that wave consistently, and then his team fights were excellent whenever Luminosity was close enough. Now, again, I know I talked about it a lot on the cast. Would have really preferred to see them contest that Fire Giant.
I'm bored. Get to the desk.
What do you mean? I'm not done
bored.
yet.
Get to the desk. Shut up. The desk!
You guys are talking enough. We've already heard your voice. We're going to move on to picks and bans, everyone. NRG versus LG. All right, and I think I gotta agree with Aggro that a lot of the focus is going to be Baskin and Yammyn there. We got a Fafnir band coming out that we can't see right now on the screen, everyone. There he comes, a Fafnir band coming out.
I think this is to be expected, really. We've seen Fafnir here before, and Uller's also a classic ban here.
All right, we got Uller banned out as well.
These are like the same bans, but they kind of mirrored. NRG was actually banning out Uller in the last game, as far as I'm concerned. Then Fafnir was banned out by... Actually, no, it was NRG that banned out Fafnir, my bad.
Well, it's kind of to be expected, seeing the Uller and Fafnir bans. Again, Luminosity, since they did forfeit that first pick selection and opted for the second choice, they still know that they don't want to allow such a high-pressure god to make it through for NRG.
I actually just realized that the bans backwards. These are the respective comfort meta bans for both NRG and LG here. What is interesting to me is going to be the next bans, if they're going to be towards a Janus, get out the risk away, take it away from Baskin, or if they are going to stick to a meta ban here and take away a Musencom.
For that Janus pick, considering that it wasn't picked until last, it was actually the last pick for Luminosity in Game 1, which means that NRG could potentially just sit on that Janus ban for right now, hoping that Luminosity wouldn't want to prioritize it so early on in the draft, because taking Janus in your first 3 does open up for a little bit more of a response draft towards it.
Definitely, especially when you're picking Giannis over a bunch of Guardians, which you'll need, and we're definitely probably going to see Mask on a Guardian or a Bruiser.
Yeah, I would say so for sure. And also, if you pick the Janus early on, like we've seen throughout the tournament, there's also Susano open, which is a god that Adapting absolutely loves and is working very well into the Janus pick here.
All right, we got a Sylvanas ban coming out here, and an AMC ban followed up by LG.
Very interesting, actually, that Luminosity just opted purely for the Hunters, but then again, it almost feels as though it was a necessity, because I would not want to see NRG running AMC either.
Oh no, but now we have Robin on NRG.
Why? Back.
How did they let him have it again? What are they going to have to do against Adapting to not let him do what he did last game?
So LG, first of all, on the bans, had the mindset of, okay, we can't give them Uller, we can't give them AMC. We are actually fine with giving them Ravana again. I want LG to actually out-pressure the solo lane. Starting with BaRRaCCuDDa here, most likely going to Aquarius, who will be picking it up, going to use his Tremors to get the wave. Cocolan, also early pressure.
Nice.
I love it. They want to win through the solo lane. This is their game plan. They don't care about Ravana. NRG, I would like to see an Erlang to counter the BaRRaCCuDDa. It's hovered.
Your strength is no match for
And it's locked.
And it's locked.
That was excellent call out there. And again, I do really like the Erlang pick as well, because Erlang Robin just has so much clear potential.
I like the Erlang. It is necessary to stop the Tremors coming out for BaRRaCCuDDa, so you can get the pressure in the wave. They can get the solo lane pressure this way, and well, Raijin for Yammyn again, beautiful, love it.
Yeah, those Raijin ults were setting up so many team fights, allowing them to actually get the kills right here. But we still don't see any Giannis picks. I'm wondering if NRG is going to ban out Giannis here to go against Baskin, or if Baskin's going to play Hachiman, maybe throw them off.
They really do have the luxury here to take away the Janus. They have 2 bans left. I don't think they're afraid of many things here. Hachiman hovered for LG here means that NRG doesn't really care about their Hunter yet once again. I do like the choice of Emil to sort of sacrifice his pick for later on. I think that's a great choice, because no matter what he's going to play, he'll be fine. Like even Rama, which he doesn't play too much, absolutely amazing.
Because he can at least sit in that long lane for a decent period of time, just collecting as much farm as possible. Once Emil was able to start making those rotations and using those snipes, not even necessarily for the kill pickups, as much as it was coming out to basically synchronize with Yammyn's Raijin ult, and the amount of damage between those two was crazy.
It was really well coordinated. Every time Mask was just about to get out, there would be a Rama snipe to seal off the deal. Anytime he would get low, there was also be a Rama snipe here. Morrigan, yet again, the respect ban for Baskin on LG here.
Yeah, it looks like they just don't really care about him being on Giannis. It's not that much of a detriment to them, or going to be a challenge at all. But Morrigan being able to pick up any character and take their kit could be devastating.
Particularly since there is a Robin already selected. That just means that They don't want to have to worry, and Baskin being a former solo laner, he is more than capable of playing and transforming into any of the gods that NRG has already drafted.
NRG does have one more ban here. It could be the Janus, just for the comfort of it. Could also be another mid laner, maybe another Hunter, if they don't want to play against double Hunter mid. A Cern, perhaps.
So do you think Kraken's going to be in solo lane, Kukulkan's going to be, or Kukulkan's going to be jungle?
Yes, for
so
sure.
what's their support? Are they going to pick Ganesh since it hasn't been banned out? They banned out Ganesh and NRG? Oh, never mind. I said it too soon.
Yeah, Ganesha gets banned out here. Ganesha is a warrior that, guardian that does very well with the pressure. He has a lot of damage. But that doesn't seem to throw off LG here. Xingqian hovered and locked.
All right, Xingqian for Jeff?
JeffHindla. I would definitely have to say that it's Jeff on the Xingqian, unless he just bamboozles all of us. Jeff doesn't really tend to play those aggressive guardians such as the Kraken. He could maybe opt to shift the play style just since they don't want to deal with the counter option in the solo lane, but Xingqian always works really well in these sort of drafts.
Okay, how did they go from hovering Athena to hovering Serket back to hovering Athena? This is for the support role. Why would they potentially pick Serket there?
Serket has been a quote-unquote comfort pick for iRaffer, something that he brought into the meta himself. Most commonly played against healing comms, but it's going to be the Athena here for the global ult. I actually want to talk about the Xingqian pick, which does throw me for a loop a bit. Could be in the solo lane since it does work well against Erlang, but for NRG here, Rama again for Emil.
I want to talk a little bit more about Athena between that global ultimate and her taunt. The taunt really is the namesake of her kit right there. And we got Discordia coming out. Have we seen Baskin play Discordia at all? Well, I guess not since Super Regional, since she just got released.
We have not, but Baskin loves this god. He's been playing her a decent amount in ranked at least. And either way, Discordia, she's got that high burst damage. We haven't seen a whole lot of success from the teams that have tried to play her thus far, but now that she's here in the hands of a mid laner like Baskin, it'd be really interesting to see what he's able to make happen.
It was an intense game one, and I can imagine it's going to be an intense game two. Analysts, who do you give this to?
I got to stick with the NA Dream because there's only 2 of us this year.
Well, I'm sticking with NRG personally. They get the early pressure, they have the double taunt, they force the beats, they get the kills, and they rush down Discordia. They could pick this up again.
If NRG takes this, they will be going off against Rival in the semifinals. Everyone make some noise. It's game number 2 for Luminosity Gaming versus NRG.
Thank you so much, analysts. And yes, we are live ready for these guys to get it underway for game 2. Discordia is going to be the real talking point in this one from my point of view.
Yeah.
I think she's been very lackluster so far, but she has been in the hands of the international teams who haven't been on the biggest stage so often. Baskin just showed what he can do on a Giannis. Can he do it on Discordia?
Hey man, if someone can do it, I believe that it's Baskin. There's been a lot of talk about Discordia. Some teams think she's pretty good. Some teams think she's really, really good. I mean, it's no one thinks Discordia is bad, but I don't think anyone has really said she's one of the best mages in the game. It's a situational sort of pick, and I like this one because you have a lot of setup to get yourself in position to hit multiple people with that strike.
Well, I think the big thing for me was what Demi said on the desk moments ago as well about how quickly they could all in energy here onto that Discordia, especially with adapting on that Raven and maniaKK from Erlang Shen. And not only that, you've also got that, hang on a second, Blink and Beats burnt on Yammyn early on. That's a nice little tricky play there from Luminosity, if I do say so myself.
Very smart there. Gets the beads out from Yammyn, and now he's very susceptible to any sort of CC, and there's plenty of it on LG.
Don't think we recognize Adapting was behind him. We're too busy focusing and chunking down maniaKK, who eats a lot of damage there. But did go double health potions. Aquarius is going to get some return damage back too, but already mid lane. BaRRaCCuDDa is dead. emilitoo and Yammyn combine to pick up first blood in game 2.
Oh no, not a good start for Luminosity. Might not be a good start on the right-hand side either, but Mask is about to transform here.
And the root is good on the body block, comes into play. The dash is there for Mask, and now he's back into the fray. Looking a little bit more like his old self we've seen this year.
Very good start. Nowhere. Mask was the one that we were worried about. We needed to see him have some confidence. I like that he gets an early kill here. Put him on a god where he doesn't need to have that insanely hard skill shot for the ult.
Well, it's been all action all day, so let's just get a recap quickly of what happened for that first blood. BaRRaCCuDDa just trading with emilitoo and not being respectful in the amount of damage Yammyn can put out, so the drums, the beat was too good.
Man, Emil and Yammyn, we talk about duo lanes all the time, and right now, at the start of the game, there's a lot of duo mid ADCs. And I really don't think anyone plays with as much confidence as Yammyn and emilitoo do together. They just work so well and seem to be in the right spots at the right time there. I mean, a lot of teams just so worried about clearing the wave, making sure that they've got the pressure. When do you need pressure when you can just get first blood?
So this game, Mask is going to get a kill for himself, so he's going to be a little bit ahead of adapting as it stands, whereas Yammyn is now a bit more dominant than Baskin. So almost a role reversal of game one between those two.
Very true, and Mask getting confidence, I think, is more important for Luminosity than Baskin getting off to as good of a start as he had in game one. No one needs as good of a start as Baskin got off to, let's be honest. And Mask just getting a little bit of that confidence back. I really feel like that passive play we saw from Luminosity after NRG got the Fire Giant is in part because of the game that Mask was having. He was struggling a little bit, and then if your shot caller, loses confidence,
Sure.
as I'm not sure if I'm going to be hitting ults,
You
so
can feel it, though.
maybe we should just back up and let him have it. That is a really big turning point.
Well, the biggest tricks I've seen between NRG and LG in these two games, so in game one and game two so far, is the difference between when BaRRaCCuDDa and emilitoo rotate to the dual lane. BaRRaCCuDDa seems to always go there a little bit earlier, get a bit more farm in that lane ahead, and leave Baskin alone a little bit longer, whereas emilitoo stays for an extra wave or two in mid with Yammyn.
And again, a lot of that is because of how Luminosity wants to play, and that's around Baskin now. BaRRaCCuDDa is still a hard carry and still a big focus for Luminosity, but I really feel like the primary focus has shifted from their Hunter and Captain to their mid lane superstar, and you can't really blame them. I mean, having two carries of the caliber of Baskin and BaRRa is a really good recipe for success.
Definitely emilitoo gonna roll in, force BaRRaCCuDDa to back up for a second, and you saw Adapting just waiting in the wings there, looking for a cheeky opportunity. If the boys of BaRRa and Jeff decided to fight there, iRaffer starting with this meditation. I really like it on Athena.
Really, really good. Clearly, NRG really values out-of-combat healing with the Sylvanas in the last game, with the meditation again, even on top of that healing to get a little bit of a boost. Here, Athena can use that Defender of Olympus, ult to someone who's low, and pop that meditation very quickly to get a burst of heal and a burst of protection, the damage mitigation. It just becomes very hard to kill someone who's got an Athena with med ready to save them.
Bit of a difference in the mid laners right now too. Warlock / Rush from Baskin, but it looks like he's had to go back and focus on boots instead of finishing that off first of all. Whereas Yammyn in the mid lane already stacking up this Doom Mob, only needs 40 stacks these days and sat at 6 as the speed buff is looked at.
Yammyn going to be stronger than Baskin at this stage to try and invade, not only because of the God selection, but the itemization as well, but speed still secured.
Root does connect from Strife on Baskin. Mask going to go aggressive onto Adapting. Adapting has to ult away defensively. No continuation of chase from LG. They'll take the small win there.
And there's a meditation used by iRaffer to make sure that Adapting is healthy in case of an invade on that right-hand side. That's those things where you don't see the meditation used and you think to yourself, okay, Adapting's low and has no ult, let's go invade. And then you show up and he's over half health, and where did he get all that? That's that sneaky meditation that can really turn the tide.
Well, surprisingly enough, then that works out even better for LG because they did get their own speed buff there. They also ult traded with Adapting and Mask, but then the meditation burn means small power play for LG.
But keep in mind that JeffHindla had to use the blink, so both junglers use ults, both supports use relics, so we're pretty much even. Surprise, surprise.
Shockingly enough, 5 minutes in now, 1-1. Gold is 600 in favor of NRG so far. The experience, though, a bit more telling, 1,500 as it stands.
Mostly due to that first blood where that gold lead comes from. Here comes that ultimate.
And the dunk could be good onto Aquarius. It will connect. The taunt follow-up was even better. He stopped the walls getting dropped down. Oh, Bravo got stunned in place, however, but iRaffer will get the kill. Mask looking to mainly run away and try and get away from the danger, but iRaffer, Athena with a double kill.
Again, if that's a 2v2, LG probably come out on top, but it's not. It's a 3v2, and NRG has recognized that that's the perfect opportunity to abuse that global ultimate. And that's what's so hard against playing against NRG. They haven't pulled out the Athena support in how long? They haven't played with that in a competitive setting in how long? And it looks like they haven't even lost a step.
Baskin's going to be a little bit careful there. I was going to say he can't dash too far into that little invisibility field of his, so he was a little bit pushed up at that moment. And mentioning Baskin, he wasn't even able to get over there and help because Yammyn was still in the mid lane. And poor old Jeff is just not an opportunity to get there at all, especially the global presence is what it was all about.
You can't match an Athena ult in rotation skill, not as a support. And without the Giannis in mid for Baskin this time around, Giannis would have turned that around because Aquarius gets a huge 3-man stun. Big ult by Bask as well. I mean, that could have been potential turnaround if anyone was local for Luminosity, but that's NRG recognizing that no one could have been local.
And with those 2 kills for iRaffer, it's going to extend NRG's lead a little bit more for the time being. Aquarius just continues to farm up, just a level down on maniaKK as it stands. Still a full minion wave there, but in the jungle, Mask going to try with adapting for a second, and Mask came out the wisp, aware of that one.
That's what Robin does so well, those little drive-by hits that can really bring you low.
Oh, hello, emilitoo going for it. The pony has been mounted, but the horsey will get him away just in time. They're hiding behind the rocks there. You may not be able to see it, obviously, through the spectator, but just couldn't get the vision of emilitoo to guess which way BaRRa went.
Good poke on a JeffHindla, but the Raiju can't be detonated still. This is a good opportunity. Now Yammyn's going to get it, bringing him down to half health. Great speed buff opportunity.
Well, it is for a second, but Mask will go aggressive. Ults, more than anything, to chase them away. Aquarius round the back, however, adapting has to ult away from the walls as the taunt came into play for maniaKK, just to make sure NRG could disengage. Speed buff goes to Luminosity.
Aquarius just a little bit too gung-ho with that ultimate. If he just tries to run it, adapting, force out that ultimate, then turn and drop the walls, that's a kill opportunity. Just a little bit too anxious here. And then to be expected, again, first time on the world stage, and now with your back against the wall, you really feel that pressure to start making plays.
And how scary is this? The last 2 times he's met at hi-rez Expo, it was a best of 5, but this is match point for NRG already. And in the situation they're in control of the game.
I was talking to Dimmy the other day about whether or not this best of 3 favors Luminosity or favors NRG, and a lot of people are saying, myself included, I really thought it would favor LG because NRG historically takes a couple of games to adjust to whatever you're doing. But Dimmy was telling me since maniaKK joined this roster, this is a different style of team. Dimmy a lot, like to play the lane a lot slower, try to wait for the team fighting stage. With maniaKK doesn't care about any of that. He just wants to run at you.
Fight.
He's smork style, as Europe likes to call it. And that's what NRG does very well. And Dimmy said that he thinks that favors in a best of 3.
And I think that's the most interesting thing is the fact Dimmy versus maniaKK's playstyle over the year changed for them. And that's taken some adaptation, as you will, for adapting, would you believe, whose namesake suggests that he should be able to make that work, to get to grips with the fact that his solo laner wants to be so aggressive, so he should be joining him more and not leaving him on an island as much.
Speaking of islands, in the long lane on the left-hand side, BaRRaCCuDDa has started stacking up this Devourer's Gauntlets first. That's why emilitoo was getting so much pressure onto him underneath the tower, trying to solo him with the snipes. It's because that boot start is so much more potent at the beginning, but now that Emil's trying to work on his Devo gloves, now that BaRRa almost has boots, as soon as those 2 items are completed, that script gets flipped, and BaRRa's going to be the one who should have pressure in that lane.
Adapting his attempt, just showing face there once again, taking some free farm on the right-hand side, making sure Aquarius is way within his tower limit just for the safety there. We'll farm under there. His Mask now going to rotate over, and maniaKK decides to weasel away.
Smart decision. A lot of lockdown on that side from Luminosity, specifically on that side of the map. Discordia's got some pretty potency of her own, and that's where I think that LG really need to try and take advantage, is when they start grouping in that 4v4, 5v5 team fight scenario. They've got a lot of CC to deal with.
Nice pair of rolls from both the hunters there to avoid each other. For the most part, as emilitoo got a little bit more aggressive there, but approaching 10 minutes, and now the Portal Demon spawns. The Gold Fury is slowly ticking up in terms of how worthwhile it will be for both teams.
As I said in between games, I'm so excited to watch Baskin versus Yammyn, the premier mid lane matchup right now, potentially. In the game 1, it was Baskin who had about a 500 gold lead. He was able to do quite a bit with it. This time, it's the other way around. Yammyn's got about 500 gold over Baskin at this point, and what can he do with that Doom Orb start? He is doing significantly more damage than Discordia, not only through the items, but because Raiju just does more damage than Discordia at this point. Discordia is not an early game mage.
Bit of focus around the speed buff once again, no real surprise. That's really the focal point from all junglers at all times. Yammyn is the one looking for a cheeky steal. Won't be able to. Oh, he did get it away. So Yammyn will live to fight. Now drums of war sounded. The salmon fish was down, and now Mask also ulted. He's still under pressure. The That was all Yammyn, and Adapting got the kill.
Perfect patience. iRaffer gonna use his ultimate, try and get back. I like that little play to throw the golden apple onto Athena, that she's gonna bring that straight to her teammates, but it still doesn't end up mattering. Yammyn he's right at home here on this stage. It's unbelievable. That amount of patience.
About the Duo being fully stacked, and you want to see him go aggressive, and he did just that. Invades the speed buff, gets the advantage for his team, finds a kill. Whereas at the moment, Baskin, very focused on farming, has that Warlock slash, but this red buff will be stolen too, and Jeff could be in a bit of an awkward spot, but not a whole lot of pressure out of NRG just yet.
BaRRa's gonna dash away. He is a little bit bigger than emilitoo right now in the item department. Still a bit behind in XP though.
Just a little bit for the time being. Purple buff though, the dance begins here, no rotation. Look at where Adapting's positioned in the mid lane, just waiting in case anyone tries to come through the mid area to help out Jeff and BaRRa. Mask though has come around the corner and they've spotted him. Mask could be the focus target here. Round the back comes Yammyn too. The aggression's on iRaffer, but iRaffer's just baiting away, as he always does. And it's JeffHindla that will pay the price. BaRRaCCuDDa may fall too, just trying to get away from emilitoo. Has he got the snipes this time? No, but I tell you what, the Fist of Fury was waiting, Adapting on Robin yet again will get a double kill.
6-1, and Luminosity really down right now. NRG, you can feel the momentum for them. Everywhere they go, they're going with numbers and they're going with an advantage of some sort. Even besides those numbers, there, it was health bars, just healthier on the side of Luminosity, or excuse me, the side of NRG.
And now Raph is going to be a little bit careful here, standing around, but calculated to perfection for the most part. He will be heading back to base relative team. Gold Fury to NRG, and that's 4,000 gold, 7,500 experience at under 13 minutes.
Man, not a good start for Luminosity. Now, keep in mind, they do have an excellent late game composition here. Xing Chen really becomes difficult to deal with in the late game. That's why we see him played in solo so often, because it accelerates him to that point of the game. Discordia is much more late game oriented than Raijin is, so you expect Baskin to be able to make big plays once he finishes off some penetration. But that's the risk when you go something like Discordia, low pressure, low clear, and a low power start with that Warlock Sash start, up against something like a Raijin that's going Doom Orb right off the bat. Look at what Yammyn's been able to do so far in this game. He's top of the net worth charts, and everywhere he goes, death for Luminosity seems to follow.
And LG does have a lot of magical damage in this composition too, obviously with 3 Aquarius in the solo lane, Baskin and JeffHindla. So you're seeing a little bit more magical resistance having to be picked up by NRG early on, as Adapting goes aggressive to force Mass to leap away. Yammyn giving chase with iRaffer on the way too, but just gonna force the situation to get towards his speed buff.
iRaffer gonna go in, finds one with the taunt. JeffHindla just getting crushed by Yammyn. NRG already starts off with a kill.
And now Mass looking towards Yammyn, who leaps away. Aquarius can't get round in time. iRaffer at the backside is in a very awkward spot, Adapting with him. maniaKK though gets his taunt off, looking for some aggression to poke some people down. Adapting getting whittled down lower and lower though, and Baskin will get his first kill. Mask is still going to slip away out the back for the time being, however, but left hand side, emilitoo is now looking at a tier 2.
That tier 2 is going to go down, and that's tough to deal with for Luminosity, but at least they get something. They bring down Adapting. It's not the Yammyn that you would have liked to kill, but it's still at least something in your pocket.
BaRRaCCuDDa going to come back and find the tier 2 tower is down. emilitoo needs to run quickly because Baskin's on the way too. The stun is good. The beads and ages have both been burnt from Emil. And now Mass around the corner. All he's doing is buying time because reinforcements might come to the rescue.
emilitoo just buying time. He is going to fall, and I believe NRG was just told to back up. Back up. You don't want to lose too much there. Wise call. An overcommit there to try and save emilitoo could have resulted in Luminosity trying to turn the tide, and they have just a little bit. That's a window now. Emil's ult is down and both relics, so that's an opportunity to try and get at least something, but now Aquarius is in the exact same spot that emilitoo was just in.
He's going to run as fast as he can, but he can't get away from the drums of Yammyn. He's having a great game so far, and yeah, from minute 1 all the way through, gets first blood on BaRRaCCuDDa and hasn't looked back since.
Mask in trouble. He's going to get hit by that Mystic Rush, but nice knockup by Mask, but a better route coming out of Adapting.
Now with this situation, Yammyn's going to get another kill, and now JeffHindla just throws Adapting deep away. back towards the tower, but nobody really wants to fight. BaRRa, meanwhile, just trying to get some extra farm and take this tier 1. His right-hand side, too. Yammyn will get the tier 1 in the solo lane.
And Aquarius wasn't even able to pick up that tier 1 of his own on that right-hand side. Just overextended, and that baits Mask into a bad spot, and then he gets killed for it as well. Just one by one, and Luminosity falling.
It's looking a little bit grim at this point for one of the North American hopefuls this year. 9-3, Portal Demon goes down at less than 16 minutes in, and NRG are starting to just basically manhandle LG at this point.
Fire Giant started up, and everyone on Luminosity's backing, they have no idea.
But
Mask is the only one even close. Portal's there for NRG. Mask now realizing this could be going on, but FG's already down to 1,000 health.
Too late. I don't think Mask will get there in time, especially with the taunt from iRaffer. NRG get the Fire Giant, and now they'll try and run down these members like dogs. maniaKK claims Mask. Aquarius will tremble himself to the ground. And with a quick back to base, it's time to start taking down some towers for NRG.
Man, NRG just burns that Fire Giant so quickly. You don't expect them to be able to do it at 16 minutes. I think Luminosity just kind of assumed it wasn't possible.
Adapting though, keeping them busy for the timing has to be very respectful of Jeff and Baskin. But round the corner, maniaKK was waiting, and Baskin's in a bit of an awkward spot. Now with emilitoo and Yammyn coming in, Adapting will go over the wall. Yammyn looking for the drums, can't find a tongue. He's after. JeffHindla will be a casualty for sure, as the edge of the taunt does catch him. Once again, Jeff sacrifices himself for the greater good, which was just about getting BaRRaCCuDDa out.
Well, he gets out all right, but no one else from Luminosity seems to have been able to do that so far. Mask just pushed back off of the tier 2 because he's 3 levels down to iRaffer right now.
4 members of NRG mid lane now. The right-hand tier 2 tower still stands, and I think probably where NRG will swing around to next. Obviously, with Jeff being down for a few more seconds, there will be no contest on this right-hand side. Let's just go to the graphs, because I see a 10K gold lead before this even tier 2 goes down. That's a huge lead for this.
We're
last
17.
year.
It's only 17.5 minutes, and every tower is gone.
For Season 3, that was a big lead for this stage. For Season 4, that's an even bigger lead, because that's such a tricky thing to do in under 20 minutes.
It's just pressure all around the map, and Luminosity really forfeited pressure in mid with the Discordia pick. BaRRaCCuDDa never got off the ground, going for those Devourers gauntlets first up against emilitoo. Emil, I was talking between games about how he played very well from behind and not with a lead. This time he had a lead, and man, did it show. He was constantly bullying BaRRaCCuDDa, but the biggest difference in this set so far has been Adapting versus Mask. I mean, he's 5 levels up. Mask's speed buff was constantly under pressure, and maniaKK and Adapting just end up winning the right side of the map in this one, and NRG take that and just run straight to the bank with it.
The talk has always been, how is NRG going to be here? Because they've not had the greatest year, but everyone knows they've been good enough to win 2 World Championships, and this match against LG feels to me like the most dominant of the 3 matches these guys have had at hi-rez Expo.
Agreed. I mean, game 1 was in Luminosity's favor, but it didn't take long for NRG to come back and take it. And that's so funny because this has been the LG team that was way more highly thought of than it was last year. NRG was thought of as dominant last year, and they ended up, of course, winning, but they ended up having a very tough time with a team from Luminosity that a lot of people were down on. This year, everyone's up on LG, everyone's down on NRG. And here we are.
And here we are at the left-hand Phoenix. Mask in the mid lane. maniaKK gonna go and make sure he zones him away from trying to trickle round the back of NRG Esports. Just wait for the minions to really come up in the right opportunity. Keep an eye on iRaffer. He has Blink. And of course that taunt looking to engage where he can. Obviously they have to keep attention to Mask, who will come round the back.
Everyone just trying to do their best. Baskin playing Discordia. It's tough to siege into Discordia. She does a good job of harassing the carries from a distance. That's exactly what Luminosity needs right now.
But the moment Baskin steps forward, I expect NRG will engage. Slowly but surely, chip, chip, chip at this Phoenix. It's not down low just yet. NRG be very respectful to LG, even though they do have this monstrous lead.
Mask not even here. He's really far back in that mid lane. Does have Blink in order to close the gap when necessary.
Taunt out to JeffHindla at the same time. In comes Mask and knocks up 4 into the walls thanks to Aquarius. But Yammyn turns around, gets out of danger and ults back in. Aquarius down to half, and emilitoo will not clean him up, but will force him back to base. And Mask goes back to base too. the hard way as now NRG looks for the Phoenix as emilitoo gets BaRRaCCuDDa.
Jeff gonna pick up 2 and just throw them away. Big damage coming out of Baskin. Actually, Emil very low. Aquarius gonna claim him, and this Phoenix still pretty healthy.
JeffHindla may have just come up huge for LG there to hold that Phoenix because that ultimate into the root combination. NRG couldn't get away from it, so now they have to run away because emilitoo is dead and they don't have the Phoenix damage.
Great initiation there by Mask. I mean, he's had a tough game so far, but you have to make plays when it counts, and it really counts right now, let me tell you. Hits 3 or 4 with that knock-up. A little bit too deep to chase in, but honestly, without that, I think that NRG probably resets, heals up a little bit, and then re-engages on that Phoenix. By Mask going in, doing a little bit of extra damage with that war cry, and then falling, it sets up emilitoo to fall after that again, but you called it. JeffHindla makes a big play with that Xing Chen ult. And I really thought that it was weird the direction that he was throwing them in,
me too.
but it was to the wall, and that continues that knock-up duration a little bit longer. Keeps them in a spot where you can hit them without throwing them too far away. Sets up beautifully for Baskin. Well played by LG's support.
So they hold for now. The game is definitely not in LG's favor whatsoever. It doesn't really change the experience or gold in this game, but what it does do is keep North American hopes in the upper side of the bracket alive for now. And with the Fire Giant respawned, there is always the potential of a fight of the Fire Giant that goes their way, but Phoenix defenses have been focal points of Season 4.
They really have been, and the problem here for Luminosity, well, one of the problems here for Luminosity is that usually when we see teams hold on for something like that, it's like, well, you know, the other team isn't getting much stronger. They're all level 20, they're all full build. Problem is, neither of those things are true for NRG. They are getting stronger still. They still have power items to complete. Yammyn doesn't have Rod of Tahuti. Emil doesn't have Titan's Bane. maniaKK only has 4 items. I mean, these guys are going to continue to get stronger, and none of them are level 20 quite yet. So LG still has quite the mountain to climb.
Well, with the Pole Demon being available for NRG, they just teleport straight back through with the Fire Giant now, and the siege begins again. Look towards the relics, however. NRG are looking pretty solid. 10 seconds on emilitoo having all of his available, and only a few seconds later, we'll see Yammyn have those beads back up. Meanwhile, though, right-hand side, it's a little bit longer for that BaRRaCCuDDa on the Aegis and a few seconds on that Baskin one, but I don't think NRG will be in position to make good use of that situation.
Not quite yet, at least, but this time going for the right side Phoenix. Wave pushed up on this side, that's why.
Blink on iRaffer and all in on Aquarius. The up down is good, and Yammyn takes him down. Focus on Yammyn, though, as the golden apple connects, but with the extra protections from Athena, he'll fall back to safety. emilitoo in the sky, looking at BaRRaCCuDDa. He hits 2, but the third did not find its home. Those auto attacks, however, will find a home onto the Phoenix is adapting. Will zone the other members of LG away.
This time the Phoenix falls, and that's Yammyn doing so much damage again. Emil with the good snipes, forcing BaRRa out as well.
A couple of minions in the mid lane means they can whittle down the middle Phoenix very quick. iRaffer in, caught on BaRRaCCuDDa, and there's Mask trying to get in there to help protect him, if anything, but they can't protect the Phoenix on the middle, and now there's only one left standing.
I don't know if it's going to stand for very long. Emperor's armor done for iRaffer, so it's even easier to bring it down.
Left Phoenix slowly being welled down. Jeff and Mask are both going to get toyed. Knocked up by maniaKK onto both, and Mask is already dead as Yammyn will thunder crush him for the kill. Aquarius, though, with a good little trap here. They need some damage to support because the rumble not in the jungle is going on. BaRRaCCuDDa gets a kill, but gets traded back out thanks to emilitoo. In goes adapting with a celebratory ult looking for Baskin, and Baskin just trying to wade his way back to his fountain. Will not be the case. The Phoenix on the left will fall.
NRG still the champions for now. Whatever you thought was going to happen here at HRX, you better have remembered that it goes through NRG first. They take down LG and move on to the semifinals.
Third time is not the charm for Luminosity. We may see them again next year, but for now, the defending world champions are once again going to a semi-final.
What a dominant performance from NRG, and you said it, Hindu. I mean, that was probably the most dominant of these sets ever, which is just insane to think about. I'm sure Rival is ready for NRG. I'll bet you Rival probably expected to see NRG. These EU teams always have so much respect for one another. Question is, are they actually going to be able to beat NRG?
Well, we'll find that out tomorrow. We've still got more quarterfinal matches to go today. Some big ones for you all too. But for now, the desk is ready to break down how that quarterfinal went.
Thank you so much, Hindu man. I mean, Taco, I know that you said it. They let Robin through. They let the king have Robin there. Was that really the turning point? Just in the picks and bans, that's when the game was over?
As soon as the Robin selection came through, I just felt as though that was exactly what NRG wanted, and every single other pick after that was completely situational. They were just going to be all response picks to what Luminosity had in mind, and Robin was the case here. He just had full control.
Yeah, and like seeing how they gave up the Raven, they could have been maybe like letting AMC through as well, because they gave up first blood in the mid lane here. It was BaRRaCCuDDa that died, and it was just really out of nowhere. So if you don't really get the pressure and you can't play against AMC, I feel like you shouldn't be playing against Ravan either.
Yeah, I mean, 18 minutes in, LG was behind 10,000 gold. It just seemed like anything they tried to do wasn't working out for them.
Robin's just a perfect selection. I linked that it was a smart idea to try and bring out the Discordia, but Robin's just such a great god for diving a Discordia. So Baskin, we just never really got to see him even really participate in this game. There just was too much pressure all over the map. NRG had full control of every single buff timer, and even when Luminosity thought about contesting, it was just adapting immediately, shutting members from their team out.
Yeah, he was always at the forefront of the aggression onto the buff cams, speed buff and red buff as well. Just being there, blinking on the targets, looking for the kills, and just absolutely beautifully played.
And that Athena as well was such a fantastic pick. I can't imagine us not seeing her after this as well, because this was the first time we've seen her in competition.
So Athena's kind of a funny pick here, since NRG has a history of not being able to play really well with Athena. Like, people have issues listening when the ult is called. But this time around, they put it on the solo lane, they get a double kill, and after that, maniaK's back into the game, they can control solo, and everything's just smooth sailing.
It seemed as though everybody was on the same page for NRG in both Game 1 and 2. Game 1 was, again, relatively close up until around that 18-20 minute mark, and it just got blown out of proportion by NRG, winning over, adapting it in that triple kill on the Raven. You might not have gotten a similar case scenario here, but still, it was the Robin pick that really just controlled the whole map.
Blown out of proportion is really the right word here. I think we had the first Fire Giant attempt at 16 minutes, and LG were kind of looking broken already. At 18 minutes in only, we had a 10K lead for NRG, and at that point, it's so rough to come back.
It is, but what would you tell them? What would they have to do to come back? Play passively, or do they try and go for the steal?
At a certain point, depending on the caliber of team that you're against, NRG is just one of those teams where you don't ever really seem to recover in those circumstances. I don't think that NRG is a team that's ever going to drop leads like that.
Taco, I think you were the one that's saying that Yammyn is a bit quieter usually, except when it comes to SWC.
Every single world, Yammyn just picks whatever god you can imagine in the mid lane role, and he's just an absolute beast. It's incredible seeing just how much talent and prowess this guy actually contains.
He's already a beast, but let alone with Raijin.
Absolutely amazing. We see every fight, NRG creating the pressure for him, especially in the early mid game, and then him following up with the raw burst provided by Doomorb, full stacked, and just wrecking havoc here again.
And again, it felt like a perfect combination between these Raijin ultimates and the Ram ultimates. Just so much damage coming out at once. Luminosity, once they fell behind, there wasn't really anything they could do to try and contain that or fight back into it.
Well, it looks like NRG is going to be going up against, tomorrow for the semifinals against Rival. It's going to be an exciting matchup. But first, guys, we have Adapting on the floor with an interview with Gabriella.
Welcome back to the stage, everybody. We've got our man Adapting from NRG after that wonderful victory, man. That was super dope. But one thing, this was a very anticipated match. So what were your feelings going into it?
The same as every year, you know, it's a matchup where if we win, it's such a confidence boost, and we feel that taking this match is gonna be, you know, vital in for the next games. We're gonna have so much confidence that we're gonna, you know, just be going in thinking we can win this easily now.
Yeah! Well, one thing, you've been here before, obviously, but a little bit of a difference this time around. How was it playing with maniaK as opposed to Dimmy?
Well, I mean, how do I even say this? It's a bit different. maniaKK is a bit more aggressive, where playing with Dimmy, he was very good at playing like the sort of team fight gods like Tyr, Amaterasu, playing really, like he could play those really well in lane. But the meta kind of shifted, and it meant that like level 1 has become very, very important, and maniaKK just suits that perfectly. He's super aggressive, you know. You'll see him diving the fountain like 10 minutes in. It's great.
Well, next up, you're going to be facing off against Rival. Is it going to go to game 5, or are you going to try and sweep them a bit earlier? No words needed for that one, huh? Well, last thoughts to everyone here that's cheering, for everyone in the crowd. What do you have to say?
Thank you all so much. So lovely to have you, everyone here, and hearing everyone cheer is amazing. Thank you guys so much.
All right, to give everybody a little time for celebration, we're going to go and kick it to a break. We'll be right back.